Radio Brockley, the UK's official #1 hospital radio station.
Hello and welcome to Brockley News, Radio Brockley's weekly show with interviews and information about what's happening here at the RNOH. I'm Alan Joyce, and coming up tonight we've got an interview with the RNOH catering manager, Jonathan Evetts, who looks after all the food provided for visitors and staff at Brockles and also the various other outlets, plus of course the food served up to you at your bedside as well. Find out more about what happens behind the scenes over the next half an hour and how he's trying to improve the image of hospital food. Then at 7:30, your chance to win some Radio Brockley goodies without leaving your bed on Bedside Bingo. And then at 8 o'clock, it's all your choice of tunes on the Sunday Request Show. So stay tuned to the UK's official #1 hospital radio station and London's longest running hospital radio. It's Radio Brockley. So, ever wondered who is responsible for the foods you eat here at the RNOH and what their job involves? Well, now's your chance to find out in an extended interview. Jonathan Evetts is the RNOH catering manager, and he took time out of his busy schedule to speak to our reporter, Jack Andrew.
Yes, this is Jack Andrew at Radio Brockley, and in the studio today I've got Jonathan Evetts, and Jonathan's the catering manager for everything that happens at Brockles restaurant, and there's lots to talk about today. And if you can just tell me just what your role is.
Yes, I am the catering manager for this site here at the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital. And the catering we provide here on site is all of the retail outlets, including the restaurant and the coffee shop. We provide an element of hospitality for some meetings, and we also do the food for all the patients across the site.
And considering the patients, you've got a lot to do with actually catering for all of their needs in the wards. That must be a huge job.
Yeah, it can be difficult sometimes. It is a very big job. We've got a very good team working for me who make sure that all of the patients are getting fed on a daily basis, but especially the way food has gone recently, to cater for everyone's taste and dietary requirements, allergies and all those sorts of requirements, it can be quite difficult sometimes. It's a good challenge.
You're very modest, but it's not just a challenge. You've actually won an award. Tell me about it.
Yes. We've just recently won an award for our food that we provide in the Brockles restaurant for staff and visitors. And what that award is, it's a Soil Association Food for Life award. So they are the people that provide that, come and check that we are following a certain set of criteria to make sure that we can say we've achieved this bronze award. In the restaurant, just to give you an idea, we're providing 1,000 hot meals a week to staff and visitors who are coming to the site.
It must be quite something to actually get a bronze award. What do you actually have to do to get that bronze award?
Oh, okay, so it started out by, we get sent the criteria by the Soil Association because it's something that we have to opt into. It's not a mandatory scheme as such. It's something that we've chosen to go for. So they'll send us the criteria, and there's various things that we have to do. So just for example, the meat that we use now is all from British farms. We no longer use anything from abroad. It's all sustainable with the fish we use, as well as all from the Marine Conservation Society Fish to Avoid list, so we're not using any endangered fish. All our eggs are free range now, whereas before we used to use battery hens, so to speak. We used to use the eggs from those farms, but now we've gone to use free range eggs only for all of our dishes where we're providing eggs. Everything's farm assured. All the farms that we are purchasing from, you can trace that meat all the way back right to that farm, and I can point to the farm exactly where this piece of bacon came from or this piece of beef came from. So fairly strict criteria. What we do now as well is 75% of our dishes are now freshly prepared on site. So 75% is the criteria, but actually it's more than 75% for us. We're providing close to sort of 85-90%, where all the ingredients come in from our supplier fresh, and we are making them fresh from scratch. We don't buy in any frozen prepared meals now for the restaurant. Everything is freshly prepared.
Is that rather expensive?
It hasn't really affected the price too much. There are some elements where it's made it a little bit more expensive. But we've managed to keep the prices suitable for the clients and the customers that we have on site. So any price impact is sort of it's been worth the spend really to get the award, because the accreditation is something it's something that we're very, very happy to.
So it's well worth it.
It's absolutely well worth it. Absolutely, yes.
So you're changing menus all the time. How do you cope with the changing of menus when you just get asked for something off this menu and something off the other menu? How do you manage that?
So with regards to the restaurant menu changes, what we do is we go with the suppliers and we source fresh produce that fits in with the season. So for example, we're not using parsnips in the summer, for example. All the vegetables that we use in each season are grown in that season, so we can guarantee that they are fresh for that season. So we'll change the menu seasonally. We have daily seasonal offers on, daily healthy options as well, which is all related to produce that is suitable to that season.
How many are in your team?
Okay, so my team at the moment, I've got one head chef who works for me during the week, and then I've got a catering team in the restaurant of 8 staff, and they then cover 7 days a week service in that restaurant. And yeah, they've worked really, really hard to help to make sure that we can achieve this award. As well as that, I've got a lady by the name of Janet who does all of my catering administration, so she's been a really big part in making sure that all of the ingredients we are purchasing are compliant with this award, to make sure that we can keep this award, because this is something that we're really proud of and we want to keep this going.
Of course, and this status, you're obviously training staff. How do you have any training regimes, or how do you train the staff through to recognise this ability to keep this all sustainable?
What we did at the beginning of this, when we knew we wanted to go for this award and it was something that we really wanted to take seriously, we sat down with all of the staff and we went through all of the criteria with them, so they fully understand exactly why we're doing this award. They understand exactly the changes we're making and the benefits they're having, not just for our customers but also for the sort of greater British Farming Association as well. So we sat down, we went through all of the details with them, and we specifically, it wasn't a training as such, it was more of an information day for them. With regards to the training that we're doing, we've recently launched a 3-month retail training with our staff called I Learn, and that's just for the retail. I mean, we do it broader for all of our other services that we provide, but in particular the retail. It's a 3-month training. Each member of staff gets their own workbook, and they work through things like customer service, so the fun side of the catering, but then it's all the other more serious side, like the food safety, the health and safety, and that's over a 3-month period, and that's something that we've just launched recently as well to help develop them in the retail industry.
They must be very proud of their award as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if people have seen the photos in the latest Articulate magazine, but you can see there they're all smiley, they're all happy. We got T-shirts specially printed for the day so everyone could wear them. We decorated the restaurant. We took photos with the award. Yeah, they were all very, very proud, and it's something that they really bought into. And I think the presentation and the information day with them first, before the award started, really helped get that buy-in, and it's something they really wanted to strive towards as well. So it was a massive team effort. I was really proud of the team for buying into it, and it was a really, really big team effort.
So finding your restaurant and visiting your restaurant, you're just as we come in the gates there. So you're there. This is Brockley's restaurant, and you're open for anybody.
Anybody wants to come in. I mean, obviously it says staff and visitor restaurant, but if people just want to come in and grab a bite to eat, they're more than welcome to. But it's quite we've got quite a captive market here, so we know who our customers are every day. We recognise the people who come in there, but it's open to the public. Absolutely.
So food cooked from scratch, they say there. So you just get all of the ingredients in, nothing is frozen. You said that earlier.
Yeah.
So cooked from scratch. So what sort of equipment do you have there that you can just get something? Do you actually do any butchering or anything yourself? Or I say butchering because any preparation of vegetables, is it all done?
For example, the chicken breasts we buy and are all ready cut breasts. There are some elements of the catering in the restaurant where the chef will get a big joint of meat and she will cut it down to what she requires. So if we're doing a beef stew, for example, she will dice it down to what she needs, or if we're doing like a roast, she'll then cut it into, or she'll cook it that way and then carvery it up. It just absolutely depends, but there is an element where she will prep the food, as you say, she will butcher some of it herself. Sometimes she's peeling the skin off the chicken legs, and most of it's coming in sort of pre-prepared, like you would buy from a supermarket, for example. But there is times where if she knows she wants to make a stew, or she wants to make something that requires prep, she will still buy the same joint of meat, and she will prep it in that way as well.
So how does that affect the menu? So what sort of timescale have you got from all the ingredients coming in to doing the menu, and then you've got everyone choosing the menu? It must be an absolute nightmare.
It can be sometimes. We've gone towards a new menu cycle now, which started a couple of weeks ago, whereby we have now planned our menu 3 weeks in advance. So Francesca, the chef, she's ordering exactly what she requires in advance, so we know exactly what's coming in. And then what she's doing is, when those ingredients coming in, she starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, gets the breakfast out, because that's obviously people's most important meal of the day. We're getting the breakfast out, and then from 8 o'clock till sort of 11:30, 11:45, she's gunning for the lunch service, and she's got her head down, working hard to make sure that all the meals are getting out in time for 12.
Well, yeah, it's quite a tight schedule here. So how do you manage to get menus coming in and requests for menus from patients, and then all of a sudden they've requested something and then something else is happening in the ward? That again, just to get, it's not just like somebody coming into a restaurant and sitting down. You've got to cater for all the things that are happening within the hospital. Yeah,
so with regards to the patient feeding, that's a completely separate style of food service. So that is not quite freshly prepared. It's something that we're working towards. But at the moment, obviously, with like you said, with the volume of meals that we do have to provide, it's a completely different service. So the hostesses on a daily basis are taking the patient's lunch order and supper order, and they're doing that on handheld tablets. They then enter that order in, and that gets sent down to a computer system for us. We then print off the menus for each ward, and we have one guy who's picking sort of close to 180 meals per service, so 180 for lunch, 180 for supper, and he's picking those and making sure that they're getting up to the wards. There's a lot of help because we're trying to work together as a big team. We get a lot of help from the portering department as well, who help us deliver those meals up to the ward, to the hostesses, who then regenerate the food for the patients. And it is a very, very tight time frame, because there would be a knock-on effect if one menu is sort of 10 minutes late, how that then affects the rest of the picking procedure. The good thing is all of the wards really have a scheme in place called protected meal times. So anywhere between 12 and 1:30, nothing else should be going on. That's the patient's lunchtime. And for me, that's great, because obviously being a caterer and understanding the impact that food has on patients' recovery, that time is just as important as a patient getting their jabs, for example. The food plays a massive part in the patient's recovery.
Absolutely correct. So the actual time slots are critical.
Yeah.
And catering for all sorts of dietary needs.
Yes, so for our patient menus, we have 7 different menus, and that ranges from the standard menu that goes out to all of the wards. We then have gluten-free, allergy-aware, which is meals that are prepped off-site due to the nature of the menu. We make sure that it's prepped in a factory, which we've vetted. The company have gone to make sure that they are following the criteria, because now that the allergen laws are so strict, these meals are pre-prepared, packed, sealed, brought into us, just to make sure that we can adhere to the legislation as well, and make sure that we've obviously got patient safety as paramount for us. So we need to make sure that we are providing the safest possible food service for the patients.
This is Brockley News, and don't forget, still to come this evening, we've got Bedside Bingo coming up in just under 15 minutes time. Your chance to win some goodies. Good luck if you're playing along. The patient reps should be up with you very shortly. And then at 8 o'clock tonight, it's all your choice of tunes on the Sunday Request Show. Get your favourites in now by calling extension 5483, or tell one of the patient reps. Well, now for part two of our interview with Jonathan Evetts, the catering manager here at the RNOH. And Jack asked him a bit more about the company he works for.
The company I work for is ISS Facility Services.
What does that stand for?
It actually doesn't stand for anything. It's more of a marketing thing. Now, when we all go on our induction when we first joined the company, it used to stand for Integrated Service Solutions, but they moved away from that, and there's now a bigger company brand which is just ISS Facility Services. So it's not just hospitals we're the healthcare part. We have ISS Facility Services Defence, ISS Facility Services Education, and it ranges through the multitude of facility services provisions.
And they say food plays a vital role in our lives.
Yes, yeah, I know it plays a vital role in my life.
Yeah, certainly, and certainly as far as the hospital is concerned, very much so.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're providing 1,000 meals a week in the restaurant, close to sort of 400 meals a day for patients, which includes lunch and supper service across a 7-day-a-week service. So, yeah, it's something very close to my heart. And
do you have to take into account any vitamin supplements or anything that's specific for a particular patient, or is that left up to the ward?
So we work very closely with the dietitians on site. So if there is a patient who has a real specific dietary need, we'll often cater for them completely separately away from the menus. We agree a menu with the dietitians, and that then ties into their supplementary requirements as well to make sure that they're getting the correct nutrition dependent on their recovery, really.
You do a fantastic job. I mean, you can hear the applause coming all the way through the hospital now. That's great, and I hope everybody's enjoying their meals. But what about yourself? How did you get into this job in catering? And
so I born and bred in South Africa. The accent's faded a little bit, so that's not there. But my mum's been a chef since I was a youngster, so I grew up watching my mum cook. And then she went in to start her own catering business when we were still in South Africa. And ever since then, I've grown up watching my mum be a caterer, really. So I've grown up around food. And we moved over to England. I went to school. I studied all the sort of food technology and went on to learn that side of the business, so to speak, as a 16-year-old. Finished school, went to Australia to work on farms. So particularly I spent 6 months working on a goat farm, which were for meat goats, so understanding that process as well. So that was a big part of it. Got back from Australia, joined ISS on a trainee management scheme, and used to go around the country starting up contracts in various hospitals where we had taken over the food service. And I had a very good mentor, a gentleman by the name of Steve Tomlinson, who took me under his wing and guided me through. And that's really where I started really getting into the catering industry and understanding the industry as a whole. And that was about 6 years ago. And here I am today, still with ISS. I've had a bit of a gap in between, but I came back to the company. And yeah, it's great. I really, really enjoy the food industry.
what do you actually enjoy about cooking? Is it the cooking, or what does a cook feel with everything that's going on around them? Is it the finished result, or is it the making of what?
When we're getting good feedback about the food, that for me is really important. I mean, obviously we're not going to please everybody's taste in catering, but when we do get the good feedback, that's something that I really, really enjoy to receive, obviously, as everyone would. But the one thing for me, the patient feeding, this award for the restaurant's great, but obviously the patient feeding is just as important for me, because like I said, we're aiding patients' recovery, so that for me is a really big part. With regards to the sort of fresh cook in the restaurant, for me, chefing is like, or cooking is like an art. It's a chance to express yourself, and you can really sort of, everyone has their own input into what they prepare. So for me, it's the sort of learning that side of it and really expressing yourself through what you're presenting on a plate.
What's your favourite meal?
My favourite
I had to ask it.
My dad makes a great shepherd's pie. So my mum's the chef in the family, but my dad's shepherd's pie is the best meal I have.
I'm going to actually say, is it a shepherd's pie?
It is a shepherd's pie, yes, lamb. Yes.
Yeah, as opposed to
cottage pie, which is the beef, yes. So yeah, my dad makes a mean shepherd's pie, and that, I'd say, because even growing up as a kid, he used to make it. He got to take over the kitchen once a week, and that's what he used to make every week, and ever since then it's sort of stuck with me.
Is it on your menu?
It is on our menu. It's on both of our menus, on our patient menu and on our restaurant menu. Yes, but it's tasty, really good, but it's not as good as Dad's.
Oh,
It's a good one.
But nice thing to base it on. Yeah, so long hours in catering. It's got to be a massive choice to say, I'm going to do this for a living.
Yeah, it was. There's some days where I kind of look back and I wonder why on earth I made this decision, but like you said, it's long hours. I enjoy every day of it. You've really got to throw yourself into it because, like I said, food's a real passion, so you've got to really have a passion for it. It is very long hours, and especially in a hospital, hospitals never sleep. It's 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I mean, myself and my manager James Collins were here on Christmas Day, helping prep the turkeys, making sure that all the patients got their Christmas food as well. So it's sort of making those sacrifices, but like you said, it's all worth it. I really enjoy the industry.
So now just a couple of questions from patients. Are you happy to take those?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first one is from patients. Catering for all age groups, and I think you've just covered that. Do you want to just do it again? Cover
Yes.
from all, because you've got everything from burgers to standard roasts and so on.
Yeah, so what we've been looking to do, we've actually got a food tasting session for our new menu next week with the dietitians and with the patients and also with some of the matrons. So that way, get an input. Everyone has an input into what we're going to put on the menu. So it's not just me coming in and saying this is what you're going to have. So with that, we get a varied selection from our suppliers of the different types of meals that we can have, and we will score them all based on the criteria that we set. From that, we then pick what meals we put on the menu. Now, obviously, that also involves different sorts of menus catering for all age ranges, as you say. So we are starting to look more at smaller portions for children. It's something that we're exploring as well, because kids coming into hospital, I get it. We were all there once. We don't want the shepherd's pies and the sort of casseroles and that. They are looking for chicken nuggets. They are looking for burgers. They are looking for those sorts of kids meals, and that is something that we have explored. We recently had a young lad on Coxon ward. He's been discharged since then, obviously, but he was really struggling with the food on the menu. So we went to meet him, for example, and we were making him pizzas and burgers and just things that he really wanted. And he had quite a complex injury, and it really helped his recovery. And to sort of see that change in his emotion from us just going to visit him and allowing him to sort of tailor his own menu really helped his recovery. And it's just it is difficult, but it's something that we try and do. Like I said, it's difficult to please everyone, but it's really good when we can make those changes to people. Yeah.
So Duke Gloucester was. What do you think about MasterChef and Bake Off and dine with me type thing? Are they worth looking at? Are they worth considering what everybody's doing in this big media of food these days?
Yeah, I think they're great. I think it's really good because it's got all these younger people into catering as well. It's got it's sort of captured a different generation now, isn't it? So you see all the chefs on all of these programs now. They're all real young and up and comers trying to sort of make it in the industry. So yeah, I really enjoy those. I mean, ISS we have a Chef of the Year competition as well, which we have every year, and that incorporates chefs from across the industry. So school caterers on RAF bases who are doing meals for the Queen on some of the bases, and hospital chefs as well. So it gives our chefs an opportunity to sort of pit themselves against the best chefs across the company. So we do something like that as a company as well. Now, we've never had someone from RNOH enter this competition, and this year it's going to happen in November, and we are looking to enter both Francesca, who's our head chef in the restaurant, and Alex, who's our head chef in private patients. Now, even if it's just to get them that little bit of extra experience in that sort of competitive cooking, and it's always good to network as well. You meet the different chefs, and then they can bring those ideas back to the hospital as well. So with regards to the cooking shows, I think they're great. I really enjoy them.
But they were saying that it'd be fine if I had all that equipment in my kitchen.
Yeah.
So you've got everything there for yourself, but then they're doing that and saying, how do I make that shepherd's pie when I've just got a little 4-ring whatever?
Yeah, sometimes I don't know how they do it. It gets a bit heated in the kitchen. Excuse the pun. But yes, the the stuff, the food goods and the meals that Francesca and Alex are pushing out of the kitchens, especially private patients with Alex. He's got a small box, not much different to the size of the studio actually, and the meals that he is putting together from that kitchen are fantastic because he's private patient. So again, that's a completely different criteria of meal, different clientele, and Francesca as well. It can be a really stressful environment, but the way they cope is great. Yeah, I've got a really good team behind me, and they do a great job. And sometimes I don't know how they do it, but every day they're doing it, so it's good.
And the last one comes from rehab. I think you just covered it before. Is, do you do takeaway? Can you deliver?
It's something that we are looking at. It's something that we're definitely looking at. So we're looking at doing a sandwich delivery service as well, and a pizza delivery service as well as something that we're looking at. Food from the restaurant is something as well that we have been looking to deliver to the wards, get people to pre-order and deliver, even if it's not just for the patients but for the nurses as well, because with half an hour break, it's not much. With the size of the grounds as well, by the time you get down to the restaurant, that's 5-10 minutes of your break gone. So it is something that we're exploring. There's other issues around delivering food across a site, but it is something that we're looking at. We're really trying to explore that as an option. Yes.
Well, I think that's explained everything that we could even think about asking you in that case. So thank you very much, Jonathan Evetts, catering manager for Brockley's restaurant.
Well, they do a fantastic job. It made me hungry just hearing that interview. If you want to hear that again, we'll post it on our YouTube channel where you can hear all of our previous editions of Brockley News and Brockley News Extra. Go to our website, radiobrockley.org, and follow the links from there. Up next on Radio Brockley, it is Bedside Bingo, your chance to win some goodies. Good luck if you're playing along. And then it's your requests on the Sunday Request Show at 8 o'clock this evening. Brockley News returns at the same time next week. From me, Alan Joyce. Good night.